A U.S. national has been abducted in Kabul. Reports quoting a senior Afghan official claim that the man was working on a World Bank affiliated project for the Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock. And according to a senior government official, the man was abducted outside his house in PD3 in Kartichar area early Sunday. He said the man had been working on a World Bank affiliated project for the Ministry of Agriculture, Irrigation and Livestock. No group has claimed responsibility for the kidnapping, and this comes after a Finnish woman was kidnapped in PD7 in Kabul last month. She was working for a Swedish NGO, Operation Mercy. She is still being held hostage. Earlier we spoke to Daniele Pagani, WION's correspondent in Kabul, and asked him how big the problem was.
Well, definitely the risk of being a foreigner nowadays and living in Kabul, it's evident, and especially if you're a United States national, if you're an American national, because obviously given the recent development of the situation with President Donald Trump and James Mattis, the defense secretary, willing to send more troops to Afghanistan and to increase their offensive against the Taliban, being an American on the streets of Kabul, but everywhere in Afghanistan is becoming more and more dangerous. Many of the big international NGOs are demanding, are prohibiting their staff to get out of the compounds both during the day and during the evening. So the security alert is pretty high, and also many foreigners are restricting their movements to the minimum, only to what they really need to do. We have seen several cases of the kidnapping recently, but not only recently. Kidnapping has a long history, unfortunately, in Afghanistan. What happens is that there are perhaps two kinds of kidnapping. One, which happens often within the city of Kabul, is made not by terrorist groups, but by regular criminals who perfectly know how economically worth is a foreigner, because often foreign governments then do pay ransoms in order to save their citizens. So what one has to take care of is not to end up in dangerous areas in the city, because these criminal groups, which are well organized when it comes to kidnapping, normally they drag people out the car, breaking the walls. So this is why it's very important not to drive at night and to take care about these. The second kind of kidnapping, it's the one who's more organized, who is done by terrorist organization, and these often happens to all those foreigners who travel around the country, maybe for medical purposes. There are doctors, there are activists roaming around the country, there are NGO workers, there are people witnessing and checking what is going on and what projects are going on. So they risk those flying checkpoints, they risk to be stopped on the road while they're driving and then being kidnapped there. So the problem is that the kidnap industry is a very, very, very valuable industry, in the sense that terrorist groups and criminal groups make a lot of money out of that. So perhaps from a foreigner perspective, this is the major concern of living in Kabul and in Afghanistan. Yeah, the security situation in the city is pretty much worrying. Citizens of every sort and kind, not only foreigners but Kabulians, people living in Kabul, people from Kabul, are very much worried, both for the high rates of criminality. The common criminality is very active in this city. Also for the random explosions happening just a few days back. Two suicide bombers attacked a Shia mosque on the 31st of May. 150 people died in one of the worst bombing that Kabul has seen, and there are also many similar attacks happening on daily basis all over the country, where the Afghan National Army is fighting the Taliban insurgency. So yes, I would say that the security situation in the city is plummeting, but this is true also all over the country. Unfortunately, Afghanistan is not living an easy moment.